Hey guys, so I guess this week I'm going to tell the story of how I got my name and give a little bit of advice about names. My name is really closely tied to how I realized I was trans. So basically, I think I've gone over this story before, but I was involved in a writing group and I had this character named Michael, and I got really sort of attached to him, and it was through that character that I realized that I was trans. So I'd already started talking to people with that name, and these were people that I wanted to keep talking to. These were close friends that I'd made. And so I figured, I liked the name. It was very tied for me to how I realized my identity, and so I had a really strong connection to it. And so I figured that I would keep it. And, I also didn't want to make those people that I was already friends with start calling me a different name. So there's how I got my first name. As for my middle name, which is Elliot, I have this dictionary from the 1970s that has baby names and their meanings. So I just went through the dictionary and I said, Michael Aaron, Michael Adam, all the way through until one of them felt right to me. Elliot may have felt right to me because of Elliott Smith, who's one of my favorite singer-songwriters. It may have felt right to me because of T.S. Eliot, the poet. Recently, I've been looking at videos of Jane Elliott, who is this woman who does a lot of sort of workshops and activism around anti-racist stuff. So that just made me, even more sure of that middle name. I had to kind of think about how to spell it because, you can have one or two L's, one or two T's. So that's how I got my name. I pondered for a little while changing my last name because my parents are not the most supportive, but I didn't think about that for too long. I like my last name. I'm going to stick with it maybe until I, maybe get married. I might, my boyfriend and I have had conversations about that, about what we're going to do. Are we going to hyphenate? Are we going to take each other's last names? Am I going to take his? So there's that. As for how other people can choose their names, I do really like that dictionary idea. I just like looking at names and sort of waiting until you find one that feels right. Find one that sounds like you, that you can, say out loud and feel like you're talking about yourself. One piece of advice I would definitely give is just because when people who have previously been unsupportive start being supportive and start using your name, if it feels wrong, it's not necessarily because the name is wrong. I've heard people say that before, that they really liked their name, but then, let's say their mother, who was previously unsupportive, started trying to use their name, and then it felt weird, it felt wrong. That's, in my experience, really normal, and it has nothing to do with it not being the right name, and everything to do with not being comfortable hearing your true name in the mouth of somebody who has not been supportive. It can almost feel like maybe they don't mean it, maybe they're being kind of condescending. Even if that's not true, I think that's where that feeling of weirdness and wrongness comes from. So if that happens, don't give up on your name. I would also say don't feel bad if you have to go through a couple names. I've seen guys get stuck with names they don't like because they feel bad asking people to change the name they call them again. I think it's a big, significant part of the transition process. So, it's super personal. And so whatever you want to pick, however you want to pick it, however you stumble across the name that feels right to you, that's fine. If anybody's got any questions about it, feel free to hit me up on Tumblr or in the comments on here. I was glad to get some comments on my second to last video, so I'd love to see more, and I will talk to you guys next week.